All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dan Sakaki. I am the Director of Stakeholder Relations and Membership here at the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. And welcome to today's Lunch and Learn webinar, Amazon Brand Registry, How to Build and Protect Your Brand. So to those of you who joined us for part one of this three-part series on getting started selling on Amazon, welcome back. To those of you who are joining us for the first time, welcome. And I will post the link to the recording of the first webinar in the chat for all of you to have a look at later. There were so many good takeaways and answers from our first webinar. So we're looking forward to this one as well. So to those of you who joined us 2 weeks ago for this same webinar today, we do apologize again for having to postpone the webinar due to some technical issues. We certainly do appreciate you coming back and joining us again today. So before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge that the Richmond Chamber of Commerce operates on the traditional territory of the Musqueam First Nation. They have lived on this land for millennia, and we are grateful that we can gather here today. All right, so now for some housekeeping items. Everyone will be on mute, and we are encouraging questions today. All we ask is you keep them related to selling on Amazon. So I encourage you, if you have questions, please submit them in the Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, and we'll do our best to get to some of them at the end of the presentation. So we are going to end by 1 o'clock today, but before then, we'll get as many questions in as we can. So if you run into any problems as well during the presentation, use the chat function, but limit your questions to the Q&A button, please. So we have a lot of excited members in a room. And now that housekeeping is out of the way, let's introduce our presenter for today's webinar, the second of 3 webinars from Amazon. Matt Turner has been at Amazon since 2018 and is currently Head of Business Development for Western Canada. In his current role, Matt provides guidance and resources to businesses throughout Canada interested in expanding to sell on Amazon. He collaborates with organizations focused on small business initiatives to help provide additional Amazon-related content and bring awareness to the many resources available to businesses seeking to sell online. Matt Turner, over to you, sir.
All right, thank you so much, Dan. Hello, everyone, and welcome to part 2 of our series here. Very excited to speak with everyone today. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, and that's Amazon's Brand Registry program. Looking forward to connecting with everyone as well. So please take note of the contact information that I share. That will be smb-bc@amazon.com. I'll throw that up on the screen here in a moment. But also want to apologize for the technical difficulties on my side and appreciate everyone's flexibility and for joining us today. After the event today, if there are any questions that I don't get to, please feel free to use that contact information. Your situation may be specific where we need to have a one-on-one conversation to talk through it and troubleshoot and find a solution. So if I don't get to your questions, please connect with me and my team, and we'll provide some support there. For a little bit more context there, my team, we work with less than 1% of all Amazon sellers on .ca. So it's a very unique opportunity to get one of us on the phone. So definitely take advantage of that contact information and reach out when you can. All right, so for today's event, want to recap Amazon's presence in Canada. So if you joined us for the first one, this is going to be a little bit of a refresher, but just want to point out some of those high-level stats that we reviewed. Then we're going to get into brand registry, what it is, why you might want to use it, and how you would enroll. And then we'll look at some of the popular tools and resources that our most successful sellers utilize on Amazon.ca. And then finally, we'll look at some additional programs that help you add that enhanced protection, that enhanced brand protection for peace of mind. Now, that contact information that I referred to earlier is right here on the screen. So that's smb-bc@amazon.com. So my team monitors this inbox. So try to give us about 48 hours to reply to you. If you don't get a response, send us another email, just in case we've missed it, or we might be backlogged a little bit, but we will get to you. So please feel free to reach out to us, and we'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. So again, smb-bc@amazon.com. And I'll throw this up again at the end of the event, just as a reminder. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the discussion here and recap Amazon's footprint throughout Canada. So here are the fulfillment centers, the fulfillment network that we have throughout the country. Again, as a reminder, in 2011, we opened our first Canadian fulfillment center in Mississauga, Ontario. By the end of 2021, we had 17 fulfillment centers throughout the country, 4 of those right there in British Columbia. Now, the fulfillment centers, if we think of these as Goldilocks with Papa Bear, Mama Bear, and Baby Bear, the fulfillment centers are going to be the Papa Bear. That's going to be the big facilities where we have a lot of our inventory that sellers are sending to us. The sortation centers are going to be that Mama Bear, middle-sized type of facility. And then the delivery stations are going to be that Baby Bear, that smaller one. And the whole point here is to get as close as possible to those populated areas so that we can get customers those orders in that true 1 to 2 day delivery time that we're constantly working toward. In addition to those sortation centers and fulfillment centers, we also have corporate infrastructure throughout the country. So we have 2 tech hubs, one of them right there in Vancouver, BC, the other one in Toronto. And then we actually have 3 corporate offices as well throughout the country, Victoria, Winnipeg, and Ottawa. And then AWS, which is Amazon's web services or for cloud infrastructure. We have data center regions in Montreal, and then recently announced in Calgary, we will have one coming online in late 2023, early 2024. So this shows a continued investment by Amazon into Canada, and shows that we believe in developing our fulfillment network further and our presence throughout the country further. Now, all of that infrastructure helps us tap into our global customers worldwide as well. We have 300 million active customers in more than 180 million countries. In Canada alone, we have about 16 million monthly unique visitors visiting our store. So that's almost half the population of the country. Or a third of the country. So a lot of traffic coming onto the site on a regular basis. As a business owner, if I'm looking at this, I'm wanting to tap into that traffic, getting my products in front of all of those customers. Now, we have a lot of sellers that are currently doing that and being successful as well. So last year, we had over 40,000 small businesses selling on Amazon, sharing our virtual shelf space. And they sold 110 million products, so 209 products every minute. And then over 4,000 of those sellers or business owners hit 100,000 in sales. Now, we also had 240 businesses surpass 1 million in sales for the very first time, which was a 38% increase in the total number of sellers that surpass 1 million in sales annually. And over 50% of all Canadian sellers utilize our fulfillment network, which again is fulfillment by Amazon. And then finally, one of my favorite stats here, we did an internal survey of businesses and found that 46% of all businesses are women-owned. So I thought that was really awesome. All right, now that we've recapped Amazon in Canada, want to dive into brand registry, why brand owners should use it, and how we're going to get started with it. So Amazon strives to be Earth's most customer-centric company, where people can find and discover virtually anything they want to buy online. And as a customer-focused company, we work hard to earn and maintain our customers' trust. Now, that trust includes making sure our customers know that they shop on Amazon, that when they shop on Amazon, they are choosing from authentic and safe products. So we take anything that harms that experience seriously, whether it's a quality product issue, a bad delivery experience, or simply getting a different product from what they ordered. We believe trust is hard to earn, but it can be lost in a moment. So we make these large investments in terms of resources and time to ensure we continually protect customers and earn their trust. We take this customer obsession into how we protect brands, specifically with Amazon's brand registry program. Now, our brand registry program offers access to a powerful set of tools that enable brand owners to more accurately represent their products, detect and report intellectual property violations, and proactively prevent violations. We invest tremendous resources into this program, and we are constantly innovating and improving the ways we detect and prevent counterfeit products from reaching our customers. So if you have experience selling on Amazon already, then you've probably heard of Brand Registry and may even be enrolled in the program already. At a high level, Brand Registry helps you build and protect your intellectual property on Amazon. By enrolling in Brand Registry, you gain access to additional tools, reports, and benefits that help you potentially generate more sales traffic and increase brand awareness. A brand store and A+ content will help further educate your customers about your brand and products. Brand Analytics gives you access to several reports that help with keyword and competitor research. Sponsored Brands is an advertising tool available to brand owners to promote their products. Report a Violation, Transparency, and Project Zero are all additional tools and programs that help you protect your brand on Amazon. An IP Accelerator can help businesses begin the trademark process in Canada by connecting you with vetted IP law firms. So why should you consider Brand Registry? Well, Brand Registry helps you better manage your brand's product listings so that your customers see accurate information. It provides automated protections that use information about your brand to proactively remove suspected infringing or inaccurate content. The more information you provide, the better Brand Registry can help you protect and improve your brand experience. Brand Registry can also help you report violations. Our powerful search tools let you find and report suspected violations with a simple guided process. Now, here are some stats on how Brand Registry has already helped thousands of sellers. Over 6 million bad actor accounts were stopped before they published a single listing for sale, and our verification process has stopped more than 10 billion suspected bad listings before they were published to our store. On average, enrolled brands report a 99% reduction in suspected infringements since Brand Registry launched. And our global team of investigators is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to respond to any potential infringements. So at this point, if you're considering enrolling in Brand Registry, one thing to point out is that it is free to enroll in Brand Registry. So you've already got your Seller Central account set up. And the next step is, if you're a brand owner, is to enroll in Brand Registry. And again, that is free. There is no additional cost or no additional fee with your Seller Central account to enroll into this program. So you need an active seller account. You need an active registered trademark or a pending one. And if you need help with getting a trademark, again, we can help you with getting connected to a vetted IP law firm through our IP Accelerator program. And then you'll also need your brand name or logo. Once you have these items, you can move on to the registration process. So to start the enrollment or registration process, you'll head over to brandservices.amazon.ca/eligibility and click Enroll Now. Then you'll select the country-specific marketplace you want to enroll your brand in. You'll follow prompts to log into Seller Central. So this is why you'll need an active seller account beforehand. You'll then complete the brief brand enrollment form with applicable legal documents or trademark applications. Then you'll be able to connect your Brand Registry account with your Seller Central account. So again, there are two. You're going to have a Brand Central account and you're going to have a Seller Central account. Now, your Seller Central account is where you manage your day-to-day, your inventory, product listings, sending products to Amazon, pricing, adding descriptions. All of that is within Seller Central. Your Brand Central is where you manage your brand. So, adding any additional brands or trademarks that you might have. That's where you report any violations. So Brand Central is going to be separate, but you're going to link the two accounts together so that you get access to creating your products under your brand name on your Seller Central account. Now, once you have connected your Seller Central account and your brand account, you're going to follow the remaining steps and you're going to submit that for review. Now, here's an example of what the brand enrollment form will look like. So you'll need to have your brand information ready, such as the brand name, trademark office, applicable registration or application number, depending on your particular situation. Then you'll want to provide your product information. If you have a website or sell on other channels, you can provide specific URLs for your products. And at a minimum, you're going to need to provide at least one picture of your product with the branding and or logo clearly shown. Now, brand registry may differ around the world, so it's important to focus on which marketplace you're currently selling in. So for Canada specifically, you're going to need a trademark registration number, again, your application number if you've gone through IP Accelerator, your brand marks, which could be text-based or image-based, which product categories your brand products should be listed in, and which countries your products are manufactured and distributed. So again, if you decide to sell in the US and on Amazon.com, that is separate from selling on Amazon.ca. So think of them as two separate marketplaces. You will need a US trademark, and we can talk a little bit more about that during the Q&A. But just to clarify, you will need a separate US trademark for Amazon.com to protect your brand. Now we'll dive into some tools and resources that our sellers utilize on a regular basis. I think these are really important for brand education, brand awareness, and they really elevate your products in a way that engages customers and really drives that sales traffic into conversion. So with brand registry, brand owners are given access to additional tools and resources designed to give them control of their brand, gain insight into their brand on Amazon, reach more customers, and ultimately sell more products. These are all exclusive to brand owners selling in Amazon stores. Now, these programs include brand stores, which help you build your brand on Amazon by creating a free self-service branded destination to curate content that inspires, educates, and helps customers discover a brand's product selection. A+ content enables brand owners to change the product descriptions of branded ASINs. Using this tool, you can describe your product features in a different way by including a unique brand story, enhanced images, and text placements. Sponsored brands are ads that feature your brand logo, a custom headline, and up to 3 of your products. These ads appear on search results and help generate recognition for your brand and product portfolio. And then finally, one of my favorite here, brand analytics, which contains valuable insights to empower brand owners to make informed strategic decisions about their product portfolio and marketing and advertising activities. We'll dive into brand analytics a little bit further, but let's take a look at brand stores first. So brand stores on Amazon are custom multi-page shopping destinations for individual brands that let you share your brand story and product offerings. And you don't need any website experience to use them. And with brand stores, you can create an elevated and dedicated shopping experience for your customers. Creating a brand store can allow you to place all your products in one location and share more of the brand story. So stores empower brands to tell their story and their value proposition. So this particular example here is 49th Parallel, which is a coffee shop in Vancouver, if you're familiar with it. This is their storefront on Amazon. They've taken the same fonts, the same themes from their other sales channels, and they've applied them to their Amazon storefront. So it looks like their own website or very close to it. It's a very consistent experience across multiple sales channels. So this shows, the capabilities that you would have as a brand owner to really get creative with your brand store. Now, further down the page on the brand store, you can provide areas to showcase your product packaging. You can show a curation of all the different products that you have. You can add comparison charts, even video content. So it's really how creative can you be with drawing in your customers' attention. Now, this particular example here is from Aja Horsley, who is the owner of Drizzle. So we're looking at one of her pages here, and we're going to actually go to her storefront by clicking the Visit the Drizzle store, which is on the product page. So this is how customers will navigate from your product listing to your storefront. And this is where they're going to learn more about you as a business owner and be introduced to other products that you provide and that you sell. So a really unique way to draw in more traffic and turn that into a conversion and expand those products that are currently selling well. Hopefully we've had lunch today, because this always makes me so hungry whenever I see this video. But this is a video that Aja has on her storefront, and it's just, it replays, it circulates, but it's just a beautiful imagery of captivating the audience and putting that product on a table to show how it can be used. So this is just one example, and again, it's how creative you can be as a business owner. Now, another example here is Chris Yee. He built and created the cocktail box. They provide, the ingredients for popular cocktails. The idea is that these are travel size. So we're actually looking at his page as well, and he has a great way of presenting his products. The products themselves have a lot of colors. The packaging itself is very simple and elegant. But just going through his storefront here to show you all of the content that you can provide to your customers whenever they're shopping on Amazon. So now on this particular one, we're scrolling through his storefront, and we can click on the old-fashioned example here, and that's actually going to take us to the product listing. So now we've gone back to the product listing, and now we're looking at, we're scrolling down what we call below the fold, and this is where we're going to see A+ content. So this is all enhanced brand content. It's HTML. This goes beyond just text-based descriptions. We've got comparison charts. This is typically where customers are going to engage with your brand or your products first, and then they're going to navigate to your storefront to learn more about your products. So this, A+ content is probably the most important feature that you want to invest in. To really earn that trust quickly with customers. A+ content helps your products and brand stories stand out with rich text and images on the detail page by connecting shoppers with your brand story and helping them dive deeper into your product features. So when creating A+ content, you'll be able to select a pre-made module or template to create the style you desire. Now, it can also help improve the performance of ads, deals, and coupons, which are discoverability focused tools, whereas A+ content is a conversion focused tool. So by pairing those two together, you can potentially increase your sales by an average of 5%. And by adding A+ content, customers can make a more informed decision about purchasing a product, which can lead to fewer rates of returns and negative reviews. A+ content also helps encourage repeat customers, which can help develop brand loyalty among customers and their communities. So A+ content is a great way to answer your customers' questions and address their purchase barriers by highlighting product features. So now that you've created your brand store and product listings with A+ content, you can use sponsored brands to drive traffic to your products in store. So again, sponsored brands are available to professional sellers enrolled in Brand Registry. Now, these are high impact ads that can be used to improve visibility, highlight a collection of listings, and help drive traffic to a custom page. Now, when Amazon shoppers click on your brand logo, they're taken to a store or a custom landing page. And when they click on a product in the ad, they're taken to the product page. When setting up these ads, sellers pay only when customers click their ads. So it's a pay-per-click model. You can control how much you spend by setting your budget and choosing how much to bid per click. Now that you're driving traffic to your store and product listings and converting sales, you can use brand analytics to dive even deeper into more areas of growth and opportunity. So in addition to Amazon stores, A+ content, and sponsored brand ads, registered brand owners will gain access to unique reports through brand analytics that help with data-driven decisions to improve your business. Brand analytics is an analytics tool giving brands the ability to access and run reports containing competitive insights and aggregated customer information. The data in brand analytics will help grow your business by empowering you to make better informed strategic decisions about your product portfolio and your marketing and advertising activities. Now, let's take a look at each one of these reports. But before we do that, I just want to preference that it is incredible the amount of data that we provide business owners within this suite of reports. And as you'll see as we go through this, you will gain access to what the top search terms are for any given time period. You can select a 2-week time period, quarterly, annually, monthly, and you're going to get a list. This is the #1 keyword for this time period. You can search for specific keywords to see where they've ranked. So if you've got a product that you are researching or you're trying to figure out how to best advertise it, you can look up those keywords that you're considering pulling into your advertising budget to see where they rank, to see what the opportunity is and how aggressive you might need to be with those specific keywords. You've also got the item comparison and alternate purchase behavior, which I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit right now. But that is actually going to show you where you stand among your competitors. It's going to give you a view of the landscape on what your customers are comparing your products to, and you're going to be able to look at those other products or your competitors to see where is the gap. Why is it that maybe that product is converting at a higher percentage than my own? Looking in the Q&A section of those products, the review section, see what customers like, don't like, and then using that information to in turn improve your own products. So again, I'm definitely getting ahead of myself. Like I said, this is one of my favorite topics. So let's dive into each one of these one by one. So now the Amazon search terms report displays which products are most frequently clicked on by customers after searching a term and conversions on each search term. Now, with this information, you can assess the impact of your marketing campaigns and identify product portfolio expansion opportunities by monitoring trends. So let's just take an example real quickly here. If we've got seasonality or seasonal items, let's say that we've got, spring and we're looking at lawn and gardening products, you can see during that time period what are going to be the popular search terms. So maybe you want to look up an umbrella, or maybe you want to look up patio furniture, or outdoor pillows, or something along those lines that might be related to lawn and garden. You can look up those keywords in this search term report and you can see where they rank. And that ranking, the higher they are, closer to the #1 spot, that means that they are being searched more and more frequently. You'll also get access to what is the #1 clicked ASIN for that particular keyword. What is the most popular ASIN that is getting conversion for that particular keyword? So a lot of incredible data here to really help identify those opportunities. Now, the repeat purchasing behavior report helps analyze brand loyalty, allowing you to strategize and assess your marketing campaigns and acquire new customers. The Market Basket Analysis Report identifies cross-selling and bundling opportunities by presenting data on products that are being purchased together by your customers. And we'll look at an example of this particular one in a moment. But at a high level, essentially, you're going to see what your customers are putting in their shopping carts, what is most often bundled with your particular products. So you might sell, a baseball, and maybe you also sell a baseball glove, but there's another baseball glove that is getting that sell over you. So you can look into that opportunity and see, okay, why is it that this particular product is being purchased rather than the one that I already offer, or this particular accessory that I offer with my product? And it could be lack of awareness. Maybe there's not a lot of traffic going to that accessories product listing. In that instance, you can create a bundling opportunity where you are saying to, hey, Mr. Customer, I also have this accessory that goes great with this product, and you can purchase them together. So a lot of great opportunities here to identify those bundling products. And then the last one here, the item comparison and alternate purchase behavior report helps improve your competitive intelligence with insight on products that are most frequently viewed together with yours, in addition to a customer's final choice after viewing your product. So we're going to have your product, your competitor's product, and then we're also going to have the customer's final decision on which one of those products they purchased. And if you're losing out on that comparison, then it's important that you start looking into where's the gap. Why is this product being purchased over mine? Maybe it's it could be quality issue. Maybe it's apples and oranges. Maybe there's a lack of awareness, lack of education that your product actually shouldn't be compared to that other product. A number of different things could fall into that. But it at least is a starting point to show you, hey, here is the opportunity for you. And here is what, the percentages that we're seeing. So again, brand analytics, an incredible suite of reports, a lot of powerful information here available to small business owners. Now, again, I mentioned we were going to do an example here. So here's an example with the market basket analysis. A consumer electronics seller used the market basket analysis to see that customers are buying their main product, but not a complementary product they offer. They were losing the sale of this accessory to another brand. The seller used this insight to create a virtual bundle of their two products offered at a discounted price. The bundle will help keep customers within their brand family. So, this is very similar to the baseball mitt that I referenced. This is just one example of how to use reports within brand analytics to create bundles and discover opportunities to continue to grow your brand. In this next and final section, we'll go over some additional programs and resources that can add even more layers of protection for your brands and products. Now, when you first enroll in Brand Registry, you'll be able to grant access to other users by assigning specific roles with varying levels of permissions. You'll automatically be assigned the administrator role once you enroll your brand. The administrator is an individual with permission to assign roles to user accounts and can also add or remove users, including other administrators. The rights owner is an individual who owns the legal rights to intellectual property of a brand, and they will also have access to the report a violation tool. A registered agent is a third party authorized by the rights owner to report violations using brand registry tools. Now, to take your brand protection to the next level, you may consider utilizing any or all of these programs that we've talked about a little bit already. And we'll go into each one of these in a little bit more detail. So we've talked about report a violation. So even as we are proactively detecting suspected infringements, there may come a time where you need to notify Amazon of an infringement of your intellectual property. Report a violation is a powerful tool that simplifies the process of finding and reporting potential infringement in our store. The tool provides a text or image-based search to find and report ASINs, offers, and images. It also allows you to conduct a global search for content in different Amazon stores from the same screen without ever having to navigate away. To streamline the reporting process, you can search for a list of ASINs in bulk to explore and report potentially infringing content quickly. And you can filter based on keyword attributes such as shipping location and average star rating. A key benefit to report a violation is access to submission history, which provides a log of reports submitted and their associated status with details such as complaint ID, reported ASIN, and infringement type. Now, to empower brands even more, we launched Amazon's Project Zero. Project Zero combines automated brand protections, product serialization, and a powerful new tool to self-service remove counterfeits from our store. So for the first time ever, we're giving brand owners the power to directly remove listings from Amazon stores with investigation of the report happening only after the removal to ensure customers are not impacted while we evaluate the takedown. This is an unprecedented level of responsibility, but one we felt could help us and brands work more closely and effectively together to bring counterfeit to zero. And we use the learnings from these takedowns to build and refine our proactive protections, reducing the efforts brands need to make to find these in the future. We've also launched a program called Transparency. Transparency is a retailer agnostic service that helps brands proactively identify and prevent counterfeits from reaching customers. Like other track and trace technologies, transparency helps you better understand the flow of your products through the supply chain, and customers can use this to access unique information about that item through their smartphone. Now, transparency uses a 2D data matrix code that is applied to each individual unit and then scanned before the item is shipped to customers. That's the code we validate when products are being listed in our store or shipped from our fulfillment centers. We check for the presence of these codes, that they match the right product, and that they have not been used before. Brands are also able to choose the product lines they would like to add to the service. It does not need to be the full catalog. However, all products with the same UPC must be labeled regardless of distribution channel. Now, for those businesses that don't yet have intellectual property, we launched Amazon IP Accelerator to help small businesses more quickly obtain intellectual property and gain access to Amazon Brand Registry while the IP registration process completes. Now, the way it works is we connect sellers with a curated network of trusted IP law firms who provide high-quality trademark registration services at competitive rates. Now, Amazon IP Accelerator has already connected more than 1,500 brands with vetted intellectual property law firms. More than 500 brands have already had applications submitted and received accelerated brand protection in our stores. And finally, we have a dedicated support team that specifically addresses brand registry issues related to protecting your brand on Amazon. You can contact this team through your brand registry account. So again, as I mentioned earlier, we have the Seller Central account and we have the brand registry account, the brand central account. So you've actually got two different seller support teams, brand registry support, seller support. If you have an issue with your brand, maybe you've got a product that is not being rolled under that brand, or maybe there's an ASIN that has been incorrectly added under a different brand, or there may be some specific issue there. You can highlight that to the brand registry team to do an investigation and make that correction for you. Just wanted to point out that there is a support team specific to brand registry issues. So that concludes the content for today. Hopefully this was insightful to everyone that joined. Again, this is one of my more exciting events. I really love brand registry and seeing the differences between business owners and how they get creative and how they protect their brands. A lot of insight, a lot of valuable tools and resources here. This is really one of the ways that you're going to differentiate yourself from your competitors. So I really hope that this was insightful to the group today. With that being said, Dan, we'll turn it over to you, and we'll start looking at some questions.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Matt. Certainly do appreciate that presentation on brand registry and protecting your brand as well. Very important to give sellers peace of mind and the ability to level the playing field, of course, as well. So thank you for that. Before we get into the questions, we do have a few, and I've received them in numerous different ways. But if I can just go back really quickly to a couple of things you mentioned. Some people, I think the information was actually in the first seminar as well, but quick definition of fulfillment by Amazon. And then ASINs. You mentioned ASINs a few times. If you could just sort of quickly redefine what those are for people.
Yeah, absolutely. So Fulfillment by Amazon, that is our logistics program. And in part 3 of this series, which is the next one we'll be doing, we're going to specifically talk about Fulfillment by Amazon and discoverability, which is advertising on Amazon. So Fulfillment by Amazon, that is essentially where you send us a shipment of your products and we store it in our fulfillment centers. And we move that around our fulfillment network for you. So the only cost to you is getting that product to us. And we provide preferred shipping rates from UPS within Seller Central if you wanted to purchase those. And then you have an FBA fee. So that FBA fee includes picking, packing, and shipping out your product on your behalf, as well as handling any returns or customer service for that particular product. And then there's also a storage fee. And that storage fee is the amount of space that you take up within the fulfillment center. I want to say it's 24 to 28 cubic meters. I have to go back and look and see what the actual fees are, but they're tier-based for the FBA fees. The FBA fees are based on weight and size. So if you send in a larger product, there's going to be a larger fee associated with that. But again, that fee covers Amazon store or Amazon picking that product from the shelf, packaging it up in our package, and shipping it out. And you get the Prime badge as well if your products are in our fulfillment network. So Prime badge has earned a lot of trust with customers. They know that if they have any issues, they can return that product, no questions asked. They can call Amazon for any questions or concerns they might have, and they're going to get that product, hopefully within the 1 to 2 days if those products are eligible for 1 to 2 days. And as we showed earlier in the slide, over half of all Amazon sellers are utilizing Fulfillment by Amazon. So it really takes a lot off of your plate as a business owner. You're no longer having to package up those orders, print those labels, go drop them off at Canada Post or Pure Later, or have someone come pick them up for you. You're simply shipping out one large shipment, and then Amazon's going to handle it for you. You'll have inventory reports available to you, so you can see slow moving inventory, quick moving inventory. Really gives you insight into where the opportunities are, what are your best selling products, and Amazon's going to provide you with reports that are going to throw up notifications on, hey, you might want to restock this particular product. Again, we're going to have an entire discussion on FBA in the following series, but that's just kind of a high-level overview. On ASINs, ASIN. So that's an acronym that I'm using, that Amazon uses internally. It's basically our identifier. So it's similar like a SKU or UPC. ASIN is specific to Amazon. And I should know this. I believe it's Amazon search identification number, I believe is what it is. Amazon's search identification number. I will look that up and confirm, but ASIN. An ASIN is what we assign your product. Now, you're still going to provide your own SKU for your own inventory tracking purposes, and you're going to provide a UPC or G10 if you have one from gs1.org would be great if you had something like that. But an ASIN, an ASIN, that actually travels with that product no matter where they are in the world. So regardless of marketplace, if that product is listed in that marketplace, it's going to have the same ASIN as it does in any other marketplace. So that's just how we keep track of products moving through the system.
Perfect, great answers, and perfect teaser for our third webinar in this series as well. Thank you for that. You ended your presentation talking about the IP acceleration and the vetting process you go through with all the law firms and what have you. We have a question here from Mary Gamble: is how quickly the timeline regarding the IP acceleration is compared to standard process, and what is the estimated cost?
So for the latter part of the question, what is the estimated cost? I'm not going to be able to give specifics. That's going to be a conversation between the business owner and that vetted IP law firm. So they are supposed to be providing competitive industry rates. So it should be, if not less, on the same page of what you're seeing industry-wide. But we're simply providing the opportunity for business owners to connect with IP law firms that we've vetted as legitimate service providers. For the timeline, you're still going to have to go through Canada trademark. You're still going to have to go through the government agency. So that process takes 18, 22 months, I believe, right now. But the good thing is we will accept pending trademarks. So as long as you start that process, you give us the pending registration, we will use that to enroll you into brand registry. So no longer do we need to wait for a fully registered trademark, but that trademark, we at least need the pending one. So timeline is as soon as you start that process and get that pending trademark, then you can enroll in brand registry.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. A couple questions here. There's two questions in one. Do I need a Canadian trademark to sell on Amazon.ca? And if I have that Canadian trademark, will it also work in the US marketplace on Amazon.com?
Yeah, great question. So the brand registry program is not required. It's an enhancement to your Seller Central account. It definitely elevates your sales, but you are not required to have a Canadian trademark to sell on Amazon. You can sell on Amazon without a trademark. You can be a reseller. You don't just have to be a brand owner. So a reseller, you can sell existing popular items, like a Hanes t-shirt, Nike shoes, something like that. You can absolutely do that. But with brand owners who have invested in their private labeling, their IP, a trademark is something that's not just going to protect you on Amazon, but also throughout Canada. And then the latter part of your question regarding the US. So I think I mentioned this earlier in the event. A lot of businesses in Canada want to sell on Amazon.com. That's the most competitive marketplace in the world. You want to make sure that you have everything. You want to have all your ducks in a row before entering into that marketplace, because it does get quite a bit more competitive. You will need a specific US trademark to protect yourself in the US. So your Canadian trademark will work in Canada, gets you access to brand registry. Some of those brand registry permissions will transfer to your .com account, but it's in your best interest to get the full US trademark if you're going to sell in the US.
Awesome, thank you. I think you covered a little bit on your presentation, but it's good to have a follow-up as well. We have a question here from one of our members. You talked about the benefits of brand registry, obviously. Question is, any positive changes in revenue that you've seen after brand registry? I'm not sure if you have the data, but if so, what is the percent change that you might have seen?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, with brand registry, this is earning trust with your customer base. It's showing that you have invested in your products, in your business. You're not simply just putting a text-based description of your product. Like you have built this particular brand. So that in itself helps encourage brand loyalty, customer retention, and it's really case by case. But what we've seen is, and I think I referenced this a little bit in the presentation, is that having a storefront, having A+ content, utilizing sponsored ads, we see at least a 5% bump from enrolling in brand registry. And honestly, it's much more than that. But again, it's case by case. I can't give any guarantees into what we see, but it just adds that trust factor, which I think it's hard to put a number on.
Awesome, thank you. Another question here is, can I have more than one brand registered with Amazon?
Yes, absolutely. If you have multiple brands that focus on different categories, different industries, you can absolutely enroll more than one brand in your brand registry account. So it makes it much easier to maintain your brand profile, so to speak, and you can differentiate those on your Seller Central account so that whenever you add a product under a particular brand, you have access and control over that. So you wouldn't need to have multiple brand registry accounts.
Awesome. You shared a lot of information. I can tell your passion when you're talking about brand analytics. And there's a lot of data available in there. Sort of a general question, but what is your recommendation on how to use the brand analytics reports? And might it vary depending on which industry you're in?
Yeah, there are so many different ways we can go with brand analytics. And again, it's as a brand owner, it just takes some time. You need to sit down and explore each of those reports so that you understand they're new tools in your toolbox. You want to understand how to use those tools effectively, and you want to use the right tool for the right job. Um, the Whenever starting out, you want to you definitely want to understand keywords. So I would highly suggest using the Amazon search terms report in collaboration with your advertising campaigns. So you're going to research popular keywords on Amazon that customers are looking for on a regular basis. You're going to research those in the Amazon search terms report. And that's going to give you an idea of how to build your advertising campaign and which keywords have an opportunity. You might consider that this particular keyword doesn't have a lot of traction. Well, that might also mean it doesn't have a lot of competition. Maybe there's not as much selection there. So if that's relevant to your product, you can be really aggressive on your advertising campaign, meaning you're bidding for that particular keyword. And whenever we say bidding, it's like maybe you want to do 5 cents, 10 cents per click. So anytime a customer clicks that link, your particular link, whenever they search for that keyword, you're going to be charged that 5 cents or 10 cents towards your daily advertising budget. So getting efficient with those keywords is going to help stretch your advertising budget. And it's going to prevent wasteful spending, because you don't want your products showing up in search results that are irrelevant to your product. We talked about baseball and baseball mitts. Well, if your baseball gear is showing up in like car washing search results for like a wash mitt or something like that, that's a negative keyword that you don't want your product showing up in. So that could be wasteful spending on your advertising budget. And whenever we're talking about margins, we want to save as much margin as possible. So that's, I think, starting with the Amazon search terms report is number one for new sellers. And then as you start to gain more data and more sales, the other reports are going to become more beneficial to you, specifically that item comparison and alternate purchase behavior report, where you're looking at, hey, why isn't Mr. Customer buying my product and they're buying this other product? Tap into that particular product listings review section, look at Q&As, see what customers are saying about it. You can't get this type of this level of data anywhere else. So what Amazon is providing is a rich research destination for business owners. So if you just change your mentality towards Amazon from a consumer to a researcher, you can really find a lot of products that you can improve upon, or you can gain insight for your own products. So long-winded answer there, but I would suggest Amazon search terms report in combination with your advertising campaigns.
Like I said, you're passionate about that topic, so I know you could have gone on longer, but I appreciate it. Yeah, but I have a question here. Can I authorize other sellers to sell my branded products?
Yes, you absolutely can. And you wouldn't actually need to be present on Amazon. So if you're a distributor or you're a manufacturer and you have distributors further down the chain, you can authorize them to sell your product on Amazon. And you would still have control over brand content, brand store. You would be the one that updates that information. They're simply allowed to just create a listing on your product and utilize that brand information. So that gives you control. So, if you're, if we use an example, I keep going back to Nike, but if Nike created a brand registry store and they had all these distributors in their supply chain, they could authorize all those distributors to sell their products using their branding on Amazon.
That's awesome, Matt. In the interest of everybody's time, I want to make sure we're out of here by 1. If you do have any further questions, Matt's contact information is up here on the screen. Please do not hesitate to reach out to him. He is detailed with his responses. He is timely with responses. He'll have answers for you. We weren't able to stump him today during our Q&A, but we'll see what happens. So, hey, on behalf of the Richmond Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank Matt for sharing his expertise. And it's really important. It's an easy to understand manner for all of us in the room today, and we certainly do appreciate that. It was a great follow-up on our first webinar on how to get started selling on Amazon. And I think he did a real nice job as well of setting the stage for the next webinar in this series. So that is going to be on August 3rd. He is going to be back to present the final webinar in this three-part series. He touched on a little bit on fulfillment and reach on Amazon, expanding your reach. So I did put the link for the first webinar's video in the chat area at the beginning of this webinar today. It is also on our website. We've made a recording of this one as well, so if you want to watch it again, it'll be up on our website shortly. And the August 3rd webinar should be up on our website any day now. So we just changed our CRM, we just changed our website, so it's going to be up there momentarily. I want to thank Matt again for joining us. I want to thank all of our members today for spending your lunchtime with us. Hopefully you found it as enjoyable and educational as I did today. Thank you again, Matt. We'll see everybody again on August the 3rd. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everyone.